Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to teach you how to make a foliage system, or how to use the foliage system in Unreal Engine 4. I have a basic empty world here, and I'm just going to go ahead and go to the foliage tab, which is right here on the modes panel, and I'm using the open world demo collection assets, which I'll post the link in the video. But it comes up, it says kite demo, but that's the open world demo. You can go ahead and grab any of the stuff from foliage, trees, rocks. So I'm going to grab some trees. I'm going to drag those into my foliage type here. And this will probably just to load up each asset if you haven't already done so. I'm going to put some bushes in there. Maybe a fern, definitely some grass, maybe some flowers, and that's probably not, well, I'll put a couple of rocks too. The more stuff you have, like, the more natural it'll look, but this should be good enough. Okay, so when you're doing foliage, start with a really low 0.0005. And I guess you can start with any brush size you want, but smaller is probably better in case you overdo it. So you can see it's not too bad there. The density is basically how many of each object are there where you're painting. You can see it's coming out okay. But I think there's probably too many trees versus how much other vegetation I have. So there's a density here, which is the overall density. I can also go into each individual foliage asset and change the density there. So if I do 50, that means it's half as many trees as there are rocks and grass and all that stuff. So I'll try that. So like 10. And then put this at something like that. It's still a bit high for the trees. Also, you can hold shift and you can delete what you've already done. Or erase it. There we go. And I don't want a lot of these either. So, I mean, you can zoom out and apply this to large parts of the world. If you would like, you can just kind of paint everywhere. I would obviously set it up better and maybe not have so many rocks, more bushes, what have you. Also, there's this kind of strange aspect of the trees are kind of pointing whichever way the landscape is pointing. You can fix that by going in and changing, so select each tree and change the ground slope angle right here. So the max angle would be 10 or 15. You can also randomize stuff. All your extra settings are in here, so feel free to dig around for cool stuff. Also, so if I want to just paint one of these at a time, I can uncheck the other ones. And it should be that I can't paint trees that are, since I set the ground slope angle, they shouldn't be able to paint up here on the angled parts. One there kind of makes it, but it won't paint on the steep parts, which is what I want. But it will paint down here. So yeah, it won't paint up here, and then we can just do a forest as far as we want. Activate everything else again. Just keep in mind you're creating lots of assets, so it shows me here how many of each I have. If they're not too intensive, then it's not that big of a problem, but you want to keep it reasonable. So that's my quick little tutorial on how to do foliage. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something, and I'll catch you next time.